The vast emptiness of space seemed peaceful that day. Stars twinkled in the distance, and planets spun silently in their orbits. But this peace was about to be shattered forever. On a small blue-green planet called Earth, in a quiet suburban neighborhood, a young boy named Tommy played in his backyard. He was only 7 years old, with messy brown hair and a wide smile that showed his missing front tooth. Tommy loved to play with his toy spaceships, imagining grand adventures among the stars. Little did Tommy know that real spaceships were approaching Earth at that very moment. These weren't the friendly visitors he dreamed about in his games. They were scouts from the Galactic Empire, a powerful and cruel force that ruled most of the known universe. The Empire had recently discovered Earth and saw it as nothing more than another planet to add to their vast collection. They didn't care about the billions of lives on the planet. To them, humans were just another primitive species to be conquered or eliminated. As Tommy played in his yard, a strange light appeared in the sky. At first, he thought it was a shooting star, and he closed his eyes to make a wish. But when he opened them again, the light was getting bigger and brighter. Suddenly, a sleek silver spacecraft broke through the clouds. It was unlike anything Tommy had ever seen, even in his science fiction movies. The ship hovered silently over the neighborhood, its strange energy field making the air crackle with electricity. Tommy stood frozen, his mouth open in awe. He should have been scared, but all he felt was excitement. This was just like in his games. He waved his arms, trying to get the attention of whoever was in the ship. The spacecraft's hull opened, and a beam of light shot out, enveloping Tommy. He felt himself lifted off the ground, floating towards the open hatch. For a moment, pure joy filled his heart. He was going on a real space adventure. But as he got closer to the ship, Tommy saw the aliens inside. They weren't the friendly green men he had imagined. These creatures were tall and spindly, with gray skin and large black eyes that showed no emotion. Fear gripped Tommy's heart, and he started to scream. His parents, hearing the commotion, ran out of the house. They watched in horror as their son was pulled into the alien ship. Tommy's mother collapsed to the ground, crying out in anguish. His father ran towards the spacecraft, desperately trying to save his boy. But it was too late. The ship's hatch closed, and with a burst of energy that knocked Tommy's father off his feet, the spacecraft shot back into the sky. In seconds, it had disappeared from view, leaving only a stunned silence behind. News of the abduction spread quickly. Within hours, the whole world knew about the alien visit and the boy they had taken. Governments around the globe scrambled to respond, but they were helpless against such advanced technology. For days, the world waited anxiously for news. People hoped that maybe the aliens were friendly, that they would return Tommy unharmed. But deep down, they feared the worst. A week after the abduction, the Galactic Empire made their intentions clear. A massive hologram appeared in the skies over every major city on Earth. It showed Tommy, scared and alone, in a cold, metallic room. A voice boomed out, speaking in perfect English. "People of Earth, we are the Galactic Empire. Your planet now belongs to us. Resist, and you will be destroyed." Then, without warning, a beam of energy struck Tommy. In an instant, the boy was gone, leaving behind nothing but ash. The hologram faded, but its message remained burned into the minds of every person on Earth. The Galactic Empire had killed an innocent child to show their power. As night fell across the planet, a stunned silence gave way to grief, then anger. In homes, in government buildings, in military bases, people began to talk of revenge. The Earth had been attacked, and a child had been murdered. This was no longer about one boy or one family. This was about the survival of the human race. As millions of candles were lit in memory of Tommy, a fire of determination began to burn in the hearts of humanity. The Galactic Empire had made a grave mistake. They thought they were dealing with a weak, primitive species, but they were about to learn that when pushed too far, humans could be the most dangerous force in the universe. The war for Earth's survival was about to begin. The days following Tommy's death were filled with sorrow and anger. All around the world, people mourned the loss of the innocent child. In every city, flowers and teddy bears piled up in makeshift memorials. Candles burned day and night, their flames a symbol of humanity's enduring spirit. But as the initial shock wore off, a new feeling began to spread: determination. Humans had always been fighters, survivors against all odds. Now, faced with the greatest threat in their history, they were ready to show the universe what they were made of. World leaders called for an emergency meeting at the United Nations. For the first time in history, every country on Earth was united against a common enemy. The usual disagreements and political games were set aside. There was only one goal now: to defend Earth and make the Galactic Empire pay for their cruel act. In a historic speech, the Secretary-General of the UN addressed the world. Today, we stand together not as separate nations, but as one people, the people of Earth. The Galactic Empire thought they could break us by killing an innocent child. Instead, they have awakened a sleeping giant. We will not rest until justice is served and our planet is safe. The speech was met with thunderous applause and cheers from around the globe. People everywhere felt a surge of pride and determination. They were ready to fight, no matter the cost. But how could Earth, with its relatively primitive technology, hope to stand against the mighty Galactic Empire? The answer came from an unexpected source: a group of brilliant scientists and engineers who had been working in secret for years. Dr. Maria Chen, a physicist from Singapore, stepped forward with an incredible announcement. "We have been preparing for this day," she said, her eyes shining with excitement. "For the past decade, a team of the world's best minds has been working on Project Vengeance. We have developed technology that will allow us to build warships capable of interstellar travel and combat." The world was stunned. How was this possible? Dr. Chen explained that they had reverse-engineered alien technology from crashed UFOs that governments had kept secret for years. Now that secret would become Earth's salvation. Project Vengeance called for the construction of 700,000 dreadnoughts, massive warships armed with weapons beyond anything Earth had ever seen. Each ship would be a city in space, capable of carrying thousands of crew members and fighters. The project was ambitious, perhaps even impossible. But humanity was ready for the challenge. All around the world, factories were converted to build parts for the dreadnoughts. Car plants now produced engine components, while electronics companies focused on advanced AI systems for the ships. Men and women everywhere volunteered to join the new Earth Defense Force. Training centers were set up in every country, preparing soldiers for space combat. Children who once played with toy spaceships now dreamed of piloting real ones in defense of their planet. The entire global economy shifted to support the war effort. Luxury goods were forgotten as everyone focused on the essentials needed to build the fleet. People worked longer hours, pushed themselves harder than ever before. The spirit of sacrifice and unity was unlike anything the world had ever seen. But the Galactic Empire wasn't sitting idle. Their spies on Earth reported the humans' frenzied activity. At first, the Empire's leaders laughed at the idea of these primitives building a space fleet. But as reports kept coming in of incredible technological leaps and the sheer scale of Earth's mobilization, their laughter turned to concern. The supreme commander of the Empire, a being known as Tarkath, called an emergency meeting of his war council. "We may have underestimated these humans," he growled, his tentacles twitching with agitation. "They are showing a level of unity and technological advancement that we didn't think possible. We must crush them before they become a real threat." Little did Tarkath know, but it was already too late. The fire of human determination, lit by the cruel death of a single child, was now an inferno that would soon engulf the stars. As the first dreadnought took shape in Earth's orbit, a cheer went up around the world. This was only the beginning. Humanity was coming for the Galactic Empire, and they would not stop until justice was served. The stage was set for an epic confrontation that would change the face of the galaxy forever. The hum of machinery filled the air as Earth's massive shipyards worked day and night. In orbit, skeletal frames of dreadnoughts took shape, growing larger with each passing day. The once quiet space around Earth now buzzed with activity as shuttles ferried workers and supplies to and from the construction sites. On the ground, cities had transformed into hives of industry. Streets that once saw morning traffic jams now saw convoys of trucks carrying vital components for the war effort. Parks and stadiums had become training grounds for the millions of volunteers joining the Earth Defense Force. At the heart of this global transformation was the Dreadnought Command Center, a massive underground complex built beneath the Rocky Mountains. Here, military leaders and scientists worked tirelessly to coordinate the biggest undertaking in human history. Admiral Sarah Chen, the younger sister of Dr. Maria Chen, and now the commander of Earth's growing space fleet, stood before a holographic display of the Sol system. She watched as thousands of green dots, each representing a dreadnought under construction, orbited Earth. "Status report," she barked, her eyes never leaving the display. A young lieutenant stepped forward. "Admiral, we've completed the first 10,000 dreadnoughts. Another 50,000 are in the final stages of construction. At our current rate, we'll have the full fleet of 700,000 ready in 18 months. Admiral Chen nodded, a grim smile on her face. "Excellent. And weapons testing?" Dr. Rodriguez, the head of weapons development, cleared his throat. "The gravity disruptors are performing beyond expectations. In our latest test, a single shot was able to tear a small moon apart. The quantum torpedoes are also ready for mass production." As the briefing continued, alarms suddenly blared throughout the command center. Red lights flashed, and a holographic display zoomed out rapidly, showing the outer edges of the solar system. "Report," Admiral Chen shouted over the chaos. "Multiple hyperspace signatures detected, Admiral." A sensor operator yelled back. "It's the Empire. They're here." The room fell silent for a moment as the implications sank in. The Galactic Empire had returned, much sooner than anyone had expected. Earth wasn't ready yet. The full fleet was still months away from completion. But Admiral Chen didn't hesitate. Her voice was calm as she gave her orders. "Launch all completed dreadnoughts. Call in every fighter and shuttle we have. We need to buy time for the rest of the fleet to be completed." Across the planet, sirens wailed as the call to battle was sounded. The first 10,000 dreadnoughts, each nearly a mile long, broke away from their construction platforms and formed up into battle groups. Swarms of smaller fighters launched from planetary bases, taking up defensive positions around Earth. In space, the Empire's fleet emerged from hyperspace. Thousands of ships, from nimble fighters to massive battlecruisers, filled the void. At their center was the Imperial flagship, a behemoth that dwarfed even Earth's largest dreadnoughts. On the bridge of the Imperial flagship, Supreme Commander Xarkath sneered at the sight of Earth's defenses. "So the primitives managed to build some toys," he growled. "No matter. We will crush them and teach them the price of defiance." The two fleets faced each other in the cold emptiness of space, a moment of tense silence before the storm. Then, with a flash of energy weapons and the roar of engines, the battle was joined. Earth's dreadnoughts unleashed their gravity disruptors, sending waves of distorted space-time crashing into the Imperial fleet. Entire squadrons of enemy ships were torn apart, crushed by artificial singularities, or stretched into cosmic spaghetti. The Empire struck back with planet-killing beam weapons, only to find their energy absorbed and redirected by the dreadnoughts' advanced shields. Swarms of Earth fighters darted between the capital ships, their quantum torpedoes punching through Imperial defenses with ease. As the battle raged, more dreadnoughts launched from Earth, joining the fray. The Empire's numerical advantage began to dwindle as ship after ship fell to Earth's superior technology. Admiral Chen watched the battle unfold, her heart racing, but her voice steady as she directed Earth's forces. "Push them back," she ordered. Show them that humanity will not go quietly into the night. The tide was turning. The Galactic Empire, for the first time in its long history, was losing a battle. And as news of the conflict spread across the galaxy, other subjugated species watched with growing hope. Perhaps the long reign of the Empire was finally coming to an end. The battle for Earth had begun, and with it, the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. The battle for Earth raged on, a spectacular light show visible, even from the planet's surface. Streaks of energy weapons crisscrossed the night sky, while explosions bloomed like deadly flowers among the stars. On the ground, people watched with a mixture of fear and hope, praying for their defender's success. Aboard the Imperial flagship, Supreme Commander Sarkath's confidence had turned to rage. His tentacles lashed out, smashing a nearby control panel. "Impossible," he roared. "How can these primitives be defeating us?" An aide nervously approached. "Supreme Commander, we've lost nearly half our fleet. The humans' weapons, we've never seen anything like them. Perhaps we should retreat." The aide never finished his sentence. With a snarl, Sarkath vaporized him with a wrist-mounted energy weapon. "We do not retreat," he bellowed to the terrified bridge crew. "Bring the planet killer online. If we can't have this world, no one will." Back on Earth, in the Dreadnought Command Center, Admiral Sarah Chen received the alarming news. "Ma'am, we're detecting a massive energy buildup in the enemy flagship. It matches the signature of their planet-destroying weapon." Chen's face hardened. They had anticipated this possibility, but hoping it wouldn't come to pass. She opened a channel to all Earth forces. "This is Admiral Chen. The enemy is preparing to use their planet killer. Initiate Operation Safeguard. All ships, converge on the Imperial flagship. We end this now." Across the battlefield, Earth's dreadnoughts began to move with purpose. They formed a massive three-dimensional arrow formation, with the most heavily armored ships at the tip. As one, they accelerated towards the Imperial flagship, their engines glowing with the fury of contained stars. Sarkath watched the approaching formation with growing unease. "What are they doing? All ships, focus fire on that formation. Stop them at all costs." The space between the two fleets became a maelstrom of energy beams, missiles, and exotic particles. Earth ships fell under the barrage, but the formation held. Shields flickered and hulls buckled, but still they pressed on. In the command center of the lead dreadnought, Captain Michael Okoye gripped his chair tightly. "All hands, braced for impact," he shouted, "for Earth and Tommy." The tip of the arrow formation slammed into the Imperial flagship's shields. The energy barrier held for a moment, then shattered under the combined might of thousands of dreadnoughts. Earth ships began to plow into the massive vessel, their own hulls crumpling but causing devastation to the Empire's prized ship. On the Imperial bridge, chaos reigned. Sarkath stumbled as his ship shuddered under the assault. "Fire the planet killer," he screamed. "Fire it now." The Imperial flagship's main weapon began to glow, energy gathering at its tip. But before it could release its planet-destroying blast, a final wave of Earth dreadnoughts struck. The weapon imploded, the energy turning back on itself. A blinding light filled space as the Imperial flagship exploded, taking a significant portion of the remaining Empire fleet with it. Supreme Commander Sarkath's reign of terror ended not with a triumphant victory, but in fire and destruction brought about by the very beings he had underestimated. As the light faded, an eerie silence fell over the battlefield. Debris from both fleets drifted in the void, a testament to the ferocity of the fight. Then, slowly, cheers began to erupt over the communication channels. Ship after ship reported in, confirming what seemed impossible. Earth had won. In the Dreadnought Command Center, Admiral Chen allowed herself a small smile. "Status report," she said, her voice hoarse from hours of giving orders. "Enemy fleet is in full retreat." "Admiral," came the reply. "We've suffered heavy losses, but Earth is safe. The planet killer was destroyed before it could fire." Chen nodded, feeling the weight of both victory and the cost it came at. Send word to all ships and Earth Defense Forces. The immediate threat is over, but our mission is just beginning." She turned to look at a portrait on the wall, a smiling boy with a missing front tooth. Tommy's picture had been placed in every command center and ship as a reminder of why they fought. "We've defended our home," Chen said softly. "Now we take the fight to them. For Tommy, and for all the innocents the Empire has hurt. This war won't be over until the galaxy is free." As the news of victory spread across Earth, celebrations erupted worldwide. But in shipyards and factories, work continued. The battle was won, but the war was far from over. Humanity had taken its first steps into a larger universe, and they would meet whatever challenges came next head-on. The stars awaited, and Earth's fleet of 700,000 dreadnoughts was ready to answer the call. In the weeks following Earth's victory, the planet buzzed with a mixture of celebration and determined preparation. The initial battle had been won, but everyone knew the war was far from over. The Galactic Empire still controlled vast regions of space, and they would not take this defeat lightly. Admiral Sarah Chen stood before the United Earth Council, a newly formed body representing all nations of Earth. The council chamber was packed with leaders from every country, all united in purpose. "The Empire will return," Chen said, her voice echoing in the quiet room. "But this time, we'll be ready. Our shipyards are working at full capacity. We'll have our full fleet of 700,000 dreadnoughts completed within the month." A murmur of approval ran through the crowd, but one counselor raised a hand. "Admiral, what's our next move? Do we wait for them to attack again?" Chen shook her head, a determined glint in her eye. "No, we take the fight to them. It's time for Operation Cosmic Freedom." Holographic screens lit up around the room, showing star maps and battle plans. Chen continued, "We've identified key Empire strongholds in neighboring star systems. We'll strike these first, liberating enslaved planets and building a coalition of allies." As the Council debated the finer points of the plan, millions of miles away, the first wave of Earth's Grand Fleet prepared for departure. At one of the massive space docks orbiting Mars, Captain Yuki Tanaka did a final check of her dreadnought, the EDS Vengeance. As she walked through the ship's corridors, she saw determination in the eyes of her crew. Many of them had lost loved ones in the Empire's initial attack. All of them were ready to take the fight to the enemy. Yuki reached the bridge and settled into the captain's chair. "All systems check," she ordered. Her crew responded quickly, confirming that every weapon, shield, and engine was at peak performance. Yuki opened a channel to the fleet. "This is Captain Tanaka of the Vengeance. We are ready for departure." Similar reports came in from thousands of other ships. The first wave of Earth's counterattack was ready. In the Dreadnought Command Center back on Earth, Admiral Chen gave the order. "All ships, you have a go for Operation Cosmic Freedom. Good hunting, and remember why we fight." As one, the massive fleet of dreadnoughts engaged their faster-than-light drives. In a flash of dazzling light, they vanished from Earth's solar system, embarking on humanity's first steps into galactic warfare. Their first target was the Proxima Centauri system, the nearest star to Earth and an important Empire outpost. As the fleet dropped out of FTL on the system's edge, they were met with a sight that made every human's blood boil. A planet stripped of resources, its native population enslaved in massive mining operations. Captain Tanaka's voice was steel as she addressed her crew. "This is why we're here. Let's show these Empire bastards what happens when they mess with the galaxy's freedom." The battle was swift and decisive. Earth's dreadnoughts, with their superior technology and the element of surprise, made short work of the Empire's defenses. As the last enemy ship fell, a cheer went up across the fleet. But the real work was just beginning. Troop transports landed on the planet's surface, where they were met not with resistance, but with jubilant crowds of aliens. The native Centaurians, a peaceful race of blue-skinned beings, had suffered under Empire rule for generations. Now they looked at the humans with awe and gratitude. One Centaurian elder approached Captain Tanaka as she led a group of Marines. In broken English, he said, "You? Free us?" "Why?" Tanaka knelt down to meet the elder's eyes. "Because no one deserves to live under tyranny. The Empire hurt us too, and now we're making sure they can never hurt anyone again." As word of Earth's victory spread, something unexpected happened. The communication channels of the liberated planet lit up with messages from other nearby systems. They weren't distress calls, but pleas for help. Other enslaved races, hearing of Earth's triumph, were calling for aid. The spark of rebellion was quickly becoming a wildfire. Back in the Dreadnought Command Center, Admiral Chen received the news with a mix of surprise and determination. "Send word to all fleets," she ordered. "Accelerate the timeline. The galaxy is ready to rise up, and we'll be there to lead the charge." As reports flooded in from across the sector, one thing became clear. The Galactic Empire had awakened not just one planet, but an entire galaxy ready to fight for freedom. The war was expanding faster than anyone had anticipated, and Earth was at its heart. The next phase of Operation Cosmic Freedom was about to begin, and the universe would never be the same. The galaxy was in turmoil. News of Earth's victory spread like wildfire across the stars, igniting hope in the hearts of countless enslaved species. The Galactic Empire, once thought unbeatable, was now facing rebellions on hundreds of worlds. In the heart of Empire territory, on the capital planet of Sarxus Prime, Emperor Zorn raged at his advisors. His tentacles writhed in fury as he paced the opulent throne room. "How?" he roared. "How are these humans defeating our best fleets? They were nothing but primitives mere months ago." Grand Strategist Velik, a tall, gray-skinned alien, stepped forward nervously. "Your Majesty, we've analyzed their technology. It seems they've made leaps that should have taken centuries. We believe—" "I don't want excuses," Emperor Zorn interrupted. "I want results. Gather every ship we have. We'll crush these upstarts once and for all." As the Empire mustered its forces, the war spread to every corner of the galaxy. Earth's fleet of 700,000 dreadnoughts had been divided into smaller battle groups, each tasked with liberating different sectors of space. Admiral Sarah Chen coordinated the grand strategy from the newly constructed Galactic Command Station in Earth orbit. Holographic displays showed the progress of various fleets and battles across thousands of light years. "Admiral," a young lieutenant reported, "we're receiving a priority message from Captain Tanaka in the Orion sector." Chen nodded, and Captain Yuki Tanaka's face appeared on the main screen. The captain looked tired but determined. "Admiral, we've liberated 3 more systems in the past week," Tanaka reported. "But we've also discovered something disturbing. The Empire is gathering a massive fleet near the Horsehead Nebula. It looks like they're preparing for a major counterattack." Chen's face hardened. This was the moment they had been preparing for. "Understood, Captain. Continue your operations, but be ready to reinforce our central fleets. It seems the Empire is finally showing its hand." As Chen began to issue orders to reposition Earth's forces, another alert came in. This one was from an unexpected source. Deep within Empire territory, a hooded figure appeared on the screen. "This is Agent Shadowstar," a distorted voice said. "I have critical information for Earth Command." Chen's eyes widened. Shadowstar was their top spy, embedded in the Empire's high command. "Report, Agent. The Empire's plan is more dangerous than we thought," Shadowstar said urgently. "They're not just gathering a fleet. They've built a superweapon capable of destroying entire star clusters. They call it the Nova Cannon." A chill ran down Chen's spine. If such a weapon existed, it could turn the tide of the war in an instant. "Can you transmit the weapon's specifications?" she asked. Shadowstar nodded. "Sending now. But be warned, Admiral. The Empire plans to test this weapon on Earth itself. They want to make an example of your world, to crush the rebellion once and for all." As the transmission ended, Chen felt the weight of the entire galaxy on her shoulders. She took a deep breath, then turned to her staff. Send word to all fleets. Operation Cosmic Freedom is now secondary. Our new primary objective is to locate and destroy this Nova cannon before it can be used. Across the galaxy, Earth's dreadnoughts changed course. The liberation of planets would have to wait. Now, it was a race against time to save not just Earth, but potentially hundreds of inhabited worlds from annihilation. On the planet Xarxus Prime, Emperor Zorn smiled as he watched the construction of the Nova cannon through a view screen. The massive weapon was almost complete, built into an asteroid the size of a small moon. Soon, he hissed, his eyes gleaming with malice, the humans and their allies will learn the price of defying the Empire. We will snuff out their homeworld like a candle, and the galaxy will tremble before us once more. As both sides prepared for the coming confrontation, the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. The Empire's tyranny and Earth's dream of freedom were on a collision course, with the Nova cannon as the ultimate arbiter. The final battle was approaching, and its outcome would determine the future of every sentient being in the cosmos. The war that began with the death of one human child was about to reach its explosive climax. The stars themselves seemed to hold their breath as the final battle approached. Earth's fleet of dreadnoughts, now joined by ships from dozens of liberated worlds, faced off against the Empire's massive armada near the Horsehead Nebula. At the center of the Empire's fleet loomed the Nova cannon, its size dwarfing even the largest battleships. Admiral Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the flagship EDS Avenger. Her face was grim but determined as she addressed the combined fleet. "This is Admiral Chen. Today, we fight not just for Earth, but for every free being in the galaxy. Remember Tommy, remember all those the Empire has hurt. Today, we end their tyranny forever." A cheer echoed across thousands of ships. As if on cue, the Empire fleet began to move. The Nova cannon's massive barrel started to glow with ominous energy. "All ships, engage," Chen ordered. "Gamma and Delta squadrons, target that superweapon." Space lit up with the fury of battle. Laser beams crisscrossed the void, while missiles and fighter craft darted between capital ships. The Empire's numbers were overwhelming, but Earth's superior technology kept the fight even. On the bridge of her dreadnought, Captain Yuki Tanaka barked orders as her ship dove through enemy fire. "Concentrate all fire on their flagship," she commanded. Her crew responded with practiced efficiency, and a barrage of graviton torpedoes struck the Empire's command ship, shattering its shields. But the Nova cannon continued to power up. Its barrel now glowed white-hot, aimed directly at the heart of Earth's fleet. Aboard the Empire's superweapon, Emperor Zorn laughed maniacally. "Fire," he screamed. "Wipe these insects from the galaxy." Just as the Nova cannon prepared to unleash its planet-killing blast, a small, sleek ship appeared out of nowhere, diving straight for the weapon's exposed core. It was Agent Shadowstar, their deep-cover spy, making a last, desperate move. "This is Shadowstar," came the transmission. "For Tommy, for Earth, for freedom." The spy ship, packed with antimatter explosives, plunged into the Nova cannon's firing chamber. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, a blinding flash lit up space brighter than 1,000 suns. The Nova cannon exploded spectacularly, taking Emperor Zorn and a good portion of the Empire fleet with it. The shockwave rocked ships on both sides, but Earth's dreadnoughts held firm. "Press the attack," Admiral Chen ordered, seizing the moment. "Don't let up." With their superweapon destroyed and their leader gone, the Empire's resistance crumbled. Ship after ship either surrendered or was destroyed. Within hours, the greatest threat the galaxy had ever known was no more. As the dust settled, Shen received reports from across the battlefield. The losses had been heavy, but the victory was total. The Galactic Empire, which had terrorized countless worlds for millennia, had fallen in less than a year to a species it had gravely underestimated. In the days that followed, representatives from hundreds of worlds gathered on Earth. In a ceremony broadcast across the galaxy, they signed the Galactic Constitution, forming a new government based on freedom, justice, and cooperation. Admiral Chen, hailed as the hero of the war, spoke at the signing ceremony. "We started this fight because of one child, Tommy," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "His death showed us the cruelty of the Empire. But in fighting them, we discovered something greater, the unity of all sentient beings. Today, we honor Tommy and all those we lost by building a better future for everyone." As Chen finished speaking, a statue was unveiled in the center of the new Galactic Capitol building. It showed a young boy with a missing front tooth, smiling proudly. At its base was a simple inscription, "For Tommy, the spark that lit the stars." Years passed, and the galaxy flourished under its new freedom. Earth became a center of culture, technology, and diplomacy. The dreadnoughts that had won the war were transformed into exploration vessels, seeking out new worlds and new civilizations. And on planets across the galaxy, children of all species played with toy spaceships, dreaming of adventures among the stars. They grew up learning the story of Earth, the Empire, and the brave souls who had fought for freedom. The tale of how the death of one human child led to the liberation of an entire galaxy became legend, a reminder that even in the darkest times, hope and determination can change the course of history. As the stars twinkled in the night sky, they seemed to shine a little brighter, guardians of a hard-won peace that would last for generations to come.